Rocky, besides being drunk as an 18-year-old, and besides breaking into the truck and then boosting it and stealing it, and besides hitting the mailboxes and the stop sign, was there anything else that you did that night?
Well, they did get me the DUI. I blew a .29.
God damn.
This sweet elderly gentleman calls us to try to get a DUI expunged, but you won't believe what we find out when we get into his real history. Rocky, tell me what's going on with you.
Okay, well, I am 53 now, for reference. When I was 18, 1989, got drunk, stole a truck, ended up in court, and the judge offered me probation before judgment. And I mean, who hasn't been there, right?
Yeah.
So I had public defender's office, but they were swamped, and I got a high price lawyer pro bono, and he got me the probation before judgment deal. I had a couple of things I had to do, like a scared straight half a day at one of the state prisons, and then sign up for alcohol classes or something.
Okay.
And I did that, and like in about 2 weeks, I had the papers ready to file with the court clerk. And the judge in my case had retired in that space of time, and my pro bono lawyer had disappeared, and I was uncontactable. And I really don't remember at this point if I thought I had handled things correctly at the time or whatnot, but
Sure.
I've been living my life ever since, and it was never an issue. I've worked some gig jobs in the last few years, and all these places do background checks, and nothing was ever an issue.
Sure.
Until I got a job offer from Chase Bank, and being a bank, they wanted to do a fingerprint background check through the FBI.
I knew it. Big banks.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yep. So they told me they couldn't hire me because I had this felony conviction on my record from 1990, and I was like, what? So I had no idea, and at this point, I really don't know what to do. Like, if I have to contact an attorney in Maryland, because I'm in Dallas now, and this all happened in Baltimore. So here we are 30 years down the line, and like, I don't have any documentation. I've been through moves and house fires and all kinds of stuff. I don't have anything on paper from back then. So I don't even know how I would go about like proving my side of the story. Like, could I get the court transcripts maybe?
Yeah, so
I don't know.
Chase offered you employment contingent to a background check.
Correct.
You accepted it. They ran the background check. They said, you're going to steal all our cars and drink all our bourbon. We can't hire you. Some version of that?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Okay, so this was 35 years ago. Have you been arrested or had any other brushes with the law in the last 35 years?
I mean, yeah, not in the last 20. But like, I was. Yeah,
the 90s were a rough time for everybody.
Remember Rocky Balboa. This might be the only chance in your whole life you get to talk to.
I'm a felon.
Yeah. Well, I'm in good company, right?
Yeah. Okay. So remember, this is like a doctor's office. Okay. We don't wear pants under this table. So
Gotcha.
What is your history with the law? It affects your odds of getting this. Right?
Yeah, I understand. I have a few like minor drug charges in Baltimore from the 90s.
Who didn't?
Nothing this century. Yeah, right. It was the 90s.
Hold on.
Was The Wire based on you?
His real name's
when you say a few minor, I'm sorry. This is going to impact the advice that we give you. When you say a few minor drug charges, you mean misdemeanors, not felonies. You did.
Correct. Minor possession charges. I did have one 6-month sentence that I ended up serving 3 months in jail. But yeah, it was never anything.
For a minor in possession, you did 3 months in jail for a minor in possession?
Yeah, well, it was, I'd had a couple of marijuana charges before, and this was a misdemeanor cocaine possession. Wasn't even my cocaine, but you know how that goes.
Sure.
It never is.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not making fun. I just want to say I'm promise I'm not making fun of you. So we have the DUI plus the theft, and then we have some pot charges, and then you did a stint for coke. But this is all like in the 90s.
Yes. But yes, like 99 was the last.
And that was all in Maryland.
Yeah.
Yes,
And then
correct.
Chase didn't see any of that. Did Chase bring any of that up, or they just cared about the felony theft?
Yeah, they didn't mention anything about that. They said there was that felony, and that was what was for preventing my employment.
Makes
And the same thing with AT&T. Subsequently, I got a job offer from AT&T just to be an installer.
Sure.
And same thing.
And
But this
hold on. Any other arrests or any other legal issues besides a couple pot charges and then the felony possession for coke?
No other charges.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Ben.
well, I mean, the question is, even if the truck theft does wind up getting expunged, like let's just say you can get that taken care of the way you want to, wouldn't the other drug charges, which are legit, just still be there and prevent employment one way or the other?
Now, I asked about that with Chase.
You're
and
like,
they,
you didn't find out about the blow?
yeah, right. No, I asked him. I said, "Is that the only thing that's?"
That is an awkward conversation.
Yeah.
So the double homicide.
Nothing else on the old
I mean,
record, huh?
a double homicide.
Apparently none of that other stuff was a consideration.
Okay.
So that's actually not that surprising because, places like the larger companies especially have policies regarding felonies versus misdemeanors. And there's some even laws about that, less so in Texas, more so in other states. But you're in a fortunate place where Maryland has a pretty well codified expungement procedure. The felony theft for the truck, 10 years is the general limit for that. Some of the stuff that Josh was asking about was very important, about if you have a long criminal history or a lot of felonies, things like that. Those can be factors, especially in other states for our listeners who live in other states. But at the end of the day, there are a lot of criminal defense lawyers who do expungements on a regular basis. You would need to get a lawyer there because they got to go to the court that you originally had that in. Those lawyers will be able to easily look up the record, and they can do it with a few clicks of a button. You don't even necessarily need to know any other information other than your own full name. So I hope you didn't take enough drugs to forget your full name at the time of these charges. And then yet. 2, where it was. So the county or the court or whatever, even if you just know the county, they'll know what court it's in. And like I said, I mean, Maryland is actually a place where they have automatic expungement for a number of crimes related to cannabis. So a very progressive state, Texas. And so, it's good stuff. That's good news. That's good news. Josh?
Yeah.
How much would you pay for synthetic urine?
$50. It's online.
Good.
Sold.
Sold.
Okay. All right. So here's what I think you should do. Everything Bill said. I try to play Abbott and Costello or whatever with Bill and find another thing, but he's nailed it so hard. I guess a couple questions I would have for Bill here. What do you think he should expect to pay for an expungement? Like, what's a fair price for an expungement? A range, because obviously,
Was this was in Baltimore, right?
It was Baltimore County.
In Baltimore County.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to probably low end. It's going to be a couple $100. You're going to want to look for a criminal attorney that has a small enough office that they have not a ton of attorneys, but that they have some paralegals, because this is a lot of work that's going to be done by paralegals. So you might call a couple. You literally Google Baltimore County Attorney Expungement, and they're going to get a number of ads. Don't go to the ones that are paying for ads. Go scroll down a little bit more. Yeah. Call a few of them. You'll find out what the general charges are going to be. It might be a little bit more than that, especially because it's a felony. It might be up to $1,000. I'm thinking $1,000. But it ranges very differently. The reason I said Baltimore County, because the lawyers charge a little bit more there.
Yeah. What you got to do is you got to fly to Baltimore, steal a truck, go down to the courthouse.
I have some more. I want to if we could just hold back, because we all have a lot of jokes. A couple things to consider here, okay? I think you should don't call one lawyer and he's like $400 and then you do it, because there's some potential here that it's not going to get expunged, right? It might not be as simple because of the different things that you have on your record. I am aware of certain judges, certain courts, certain places. I'm not a Maryland expert, right? Where if they see a bunch of stuff, Now, in your favor, you said it's been 20 years plus since you've had an incident, right? Like 20, 25 years?
And no
Correct.
other felonies. And no other felonies.
And no other felonies. So I think that you are.
No other felony.
But what I would like is if I were you, if I was exactly me in your situation, I'd want to hear 3 local attorneys that know that court system and have done a bunch of expungements tell me to my face. And the reason it's 3 is because you get a lot of attorneys, they want your money. So they're going to be like, yeah, we got a great chance. And then maybe you don't necessarily. Right. So you talk to 3, and if they're all singing the same song and dance, it sounds like it's a good investment. Like whether it's a couple $100 or 500 or 1,000, if it's going to help you get a career and you're going to be able to put this behind you, I think it's worth doing. Before I call the attorneys, I would request, if you haven't already, a detailed copy of that background report from Chase. They may or may not give it to you. If they don't, ask them what provider they use. They might tell you that. Yep. If they don't,
well, it was the FBI.
Oh, well then, try to get a copy of it.
Okay.
What kind of truck?
You gotta go to the FBI, just steal a truck, and go right down there.
What kind of truck was it? What kind of truck was it?
It was an F-250 with a refrigerated box on the back. No.
Oh, okay. Just
it was for ice deliveries.
Did you take? Was it like a friend's truck and you had the keys? Did you like break in?
No, there was a breaking and entering along with it. I mean, it was a crazy night, but I only got only so many of the charges stuck.
Nice.
Wait, there were what else was going on? You said it was a crazy night.
That was the only conviction.
No. Hold on.
This is our guy, Rocky.
No, this is our Rocky.
Wait, let's not brush over the fact he stole a fucking box truck, like an iced out, like an ice delivery truck. Like, how did you wind up stealing that
Rocky,
truck?
what were the other charges that didn't stick?
Oh God, it must have been 30 malicious destruction of property. I'd taken out a bunch of mailboxes with the truck. The stop sign. There was a stop sign coming out of the gas tank, gas dripping.
You rammed the stop sign with the stolen truck?
Grand Theft Baltimore over here.
Honestly, you sound like a Chase man. Like this guy. If ever I've heard a guy who should be working at Chase.
You know what? Now I realize. I bet they didn't even have a report. The executives were like, "This guy's coming for our jobs.
Yeah,
send him over to Wells Fargo."
I can't drive a stagecoach. So
Rocky. Besides being drunk as an 18-year-old, and besides breaking into the truck and then boosting it and stealing it, and besides hitting the mailboxes and the stop sign, was there anything else that you did that night?
Well, they did get me the DUI. I blew a .29.
God damn.
This man is a refrigerator.
Can we have a drink? Can we hang out? I want to hang out with you today.
At that point, it's a measure of how much blood is in your alcohol.
Yes, correct.
That's
Rocky.
If you guys are ever in Dallas, I'll take you out.
We're in Dallas right now. So Rocky, this is Ben. He actually has a show tonight.
I'm at TK's all weekend. You gotta come to the show,
Texas. We'll give you free tickets to the show after we're done recording. Okay?
And after we do the show, we're gonna fucking steal an ice truck.
Hey, more importantly, I'm gonna go home and get a night's sleep and then stop at the ATM to get bail money for you. Fucks.
Yeah.
All right.
No.
Seriously, come to the shows. TK'scomedy.com.
We'll send you the info, Rocky. Do you feel like you got some help today on dealing with your Maryland situation?
I do. I certainly appreciate y'all very much.
Absolutely. Well,
Thanks
for calling. Have a good one.
Thanks. You guys as well.
I wish I had him as my grandpa.
I'm gonna apply for uncleship. I like him. Rocky was a good guy.
Yeah, dude. I want to hire that guy for what? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but he's all right with me.
Barely
man.
legal on the road. The Hangover.
He's like, yeah. It was the '90s. Everyone did drugs and stole ice trucks. That's just what we did back then in B-more.
I like how it started off so sweet. He's like, I was drunk and I joined Joyride. It's like, aww. And that was 35 years ago. And he's like, yeah, and I also had weed and cocaine, and then there was
I got a DUI. I blew a fucking Heineken. That's how drunk I was.
0.29.
They're like, we just took him straight to the hospital.
That is very drunk.
It's impressive. It goes backwards like Anchorman. It's like the cops like 0.29. I'm not even angry. I'm impressed.
Wow, that escalated fast.
Oh man. Well, for our folks at home, like a lot of people, they're gonna be laying laying their lives out on the line, going decades later, and they deal with an expungement issue that comes up, and it really has become more and more a common thing for jurisdictions to allow this to happen. I'm glad to see that he's in a place where it can get taken care of. I would love to see him come over to my house and fix the cable, stay for a drink. Not gonna let him have my car keys, and make sure they're secured. But
you guys got to make Texas more weed friendly.
He also had cocaine and he stole cars. Like, what? This isn't a Texas issue.
Yeah, you know what? Let's legalize stealing cars.
I really hope that guy comes to a show.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get him out.
Get him to the show.
We're gonna have a good time.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Remember, if you're watching at home, you're smashing the like button. You're smashing the subscribe button. And if you're Rocky, you're smashing mailboxes.
Boxes in your ice truck.
So when you get drunk and blow a .29 and you boost your car and you need to call someone, call this number. We're going to laugh with you. We're going to give you some free comedy tickets. This is the Barely Legal Show. Lawyers are expensive, but subscribing to this channel is free. We'll be here when you need us. Call in with your legal issues. It's the Barely Legal Show.